What's going on, everybody? We're going to compare QDTE to Fepi, QQQY, JEPQ, and QQQE. That's a ProShares version. And there's some really surprising results in this comparison. I use the dividend channel for this. This is with $10,000 invested with dividends reinvested since QDTE's inception. Now, why is that? Well, that's because QDTE has come out sooner than anything else that I'm comparing it to. And there's some really shocking results. Like, there's a couple, like there's one that QDTE beat I definitely did not expect. And there's one that beat QDTE I did not expect at all. So I'm wondering if you're going to be as surprised with these results as I am. This is Mike, the Tactical Stock Scalper. All right. QDTE is a lot of people are talking about. It's becoming really popular. Why is that? Well, number one, because it pays weekly. And there's been some things that have paid weekly, like something called weekly, and it went out of business, right? So will QDTE go out of business in the future? Nobody knows. The weekly payers have just not done well in the marketplace, and they just can never sustain. So everyone's hopeful that QDTE will be the first, the revolutionary one, to stay away, to stand alive for a while, to be great and to live. And I'm actually surprised how well QDTE has done in this comparison. I didn't know what to think because it pays weekly, and I think QDTE is great for swing trades. I'm a little skeptical on the long term, holding it long term, but I may change my mind. Now, it doesn't, this is going to sound really weird, doesn't pay a huge dividend. And when I say that, I'm saying that in comparison to most yield max and defiance funds, right? It pays anywhere from like 20 to 30%, and the dividends, guys, are really varied. Like, they're really up and down. So you really can't base it off 1 week. Now, we'll say the compounding feature, if you reinvest the dividends weekly, is really nice. But again, it's only, and I say that, and that sounds so weird to say that for a lot of us that have been in the market a long time, only paying between 20, 25, and 30%. So without further ado, let's start comparing it. So the first comparison is to the Godfather, JEPQ. People say JEPQ is obsolete. It's really not holding its own anymore with all these new funds coming online. Well, let's compare it. So QDTE, if you invested at its inception with $10,000, right now you'd have $10,663, and that is with dividends reinvested. JEPQ is close, but QDTE beats it, $10,605. So JEPQ is getting kicked around by pretty much everything nowadays, and I think JEPQ is a great fund. It catches share price appreciation really nice. The dividends are way lower, but man, QDTE is beating it, and I wasn't so sure it was going to do that, and it did. Okay, what about against ProShares NASDAQ version, QQQE? Okay, QDTE, again, if you bought at inception, you would have $10,663. QQQE, only $10,073. You only made $73 in QQQE with the market ripping up, whereas in QDTE you'd make $663 since its inception. Absolutely wiping the floor, kicking the tail on QQQE. It's not even close. So far, QDTE is beating the Godfather, JEPQ. It's beating QQQE on total return with dividends reinvested. That's pretty good. What about against Fepi? Oh boy, a lot of people love Fepi. I do too. I think Fepi is wonderful. I don't own it currently, but I have owned it, and I trade it sometimes, and I plan on holding it in the future to create a safe dividend. But check this out. QDTE, if you got in at inception, 10,663. It's always going to be the same with QDTE because it's come out sooner than any of these other funds. Now, Fepi, at the time of inception of QDTE, right now, you'd have $10,551 with dividends reinvested. It's beating it by over $100. And the short time that QDTE has been out. So right now, all the Fepi lovers, I don't know what to tell you. Right now, QDTE is beating Fepi. And that is, I didn't expect that. With all the hype on Fepi, and like I said, I like it too, I definitely expected Fepi to beat it. It's not. Now check. Okay. This one, we're going to do it against QQQY. And I expected QDTE to absolutely crush QQQY. QQQY is a Defiance fund. It's going to be reverse splitting in the next couple weeks. QQQY must be absolutely horrible. I mean, there's no way it's getting reverse split, right? QDTE, with $10,000 invested since its inception, again, you'd have $10,663. Are you ready for this? QQQY, with dividends reinvested, you would have $10,689. It's barely beating QDTE, but it's still beating it. As a matter of fact, QQQY is beating Fepi, beating JEPQ, it's demolishing QQQE. I mean, that really surprised me, that QQQY in total returns since QDTE, so many Qs, since QDTE's inception is beating it. Now this is honestly a kudos to QQQY. I sold my QQQY to put it into IWMY, and I'm happy I did, because IWMY, with the dividends, I am way up on it, even though I'm down on share price. So QDTE is coming second place, and I wasn't sure about if QDTE could be a long hold. It's looking like it can be. I mean, we still need more time. Let's not, I mean, QQQY, it's not even, hasn't been out as long as QQQY even. So it's got, we still have to go through more time. But as of right now, QDTE has been really good. It's beating the Godfather, it's beating QQQE, and it's beating Fepi. I don't know what to tell you. I think QDTE is wonderful. The only one that's not beating is the lowly, the beaten down, the absolutely horrible, apparently by most people, QQQY. Pretty impressive. This is Mike, the Tactical Stock Scalper, out.